One of the most controversial figures of all time is here, and the question is it any good? Let's find out. Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video we're gonna take a look at Hasbro Marvel Legends Maximum Series Spider-Man, probably one of the most controversial figures ever because of its price. In the US this guy was $50, while in Europe he was 60 euros. So really expensive for a Marvel Legends figure that usually have a standard price of $25 to $30. But guys from Hasbro said that they made a new sculpt for this figure and also included more accessories than what we usually get in this line. Does that justify a higher price? Even before opening the box, I will say no, it probably does not. There are some Mafex figures that you can get for almost the same price as this guy. For example, just recently I got the reissued Hush Batman from Ami and he was around 60 bucks. Now, sure, there was an extra cost for shipping and import charges, but you are getting a Mafex quality, a bunch of accessories, a flight stand, and a wired soft goods cape. But all complaints aside, I obviously got this figure because I think that it looks good and I wanted to check it out. After all, a value in this hobby is completely subjective and each one of us can do whatever we want with our money. So with that said, let's take a look at what we have here. First, a quick look at the packaging. They made a new design, a new type of box that I do like. I think that this is a nice presentation. I like the red and black combination. After all, that's the logo of my channel. On the front, we have a big window showing the figure and all included accessories. We have a Marvel Legends logo. Down here it says Maximum Series Spider-Man. Side of the box shows a render of the figure. Back of the box shows another render of the figure in a nice and dynamic pose. Other side shows Spidey hanging upside down from his web. We have Maximum Series logo on the top, warnings and info on the bottom. But now, let's open it up and let's take a look at the figure. Here is our Marvel Legends Maximum Series Spider-Man out of the box, and I do like what I'm seeing here. I'm not a huge Marvel Legends expert, but to me, the proportions on this body look good. As usual, Hasbro uses their softer, gummy plastic. They use that for their Black Series line as well, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Well, probably I'm not a huge fan of that, because the figures feel cheap, but I guess they do it so that their figures don't break easily if they take a shelf dive. After all, their figures are for ages 4+, unlike Mafex and SHF that are for ages 15+. I'm also not a fan of this shiny finish. I would much more prefer it to be matte. They showed on some of their previous Spidey figures that they are capable of doing it, so I don't know why they went with a shiny finish on this guy. But everything else looks good. Spidey is around 15.3 centimeters tall and has a nice silhouette. The only issue in terms of aesthetic is this visible gap in his crotch area. That could have been handled a bit better. But like I've said, everything else looks really good. Taking a closer look at the details, here is how the head looks. Eyes and web lines are nice and clean. Now, because the head is made in two parts glued together, and you can slightly see the seam line here, I've seen some people having issues with misalignment of web lines. Fortunately, on my copy, it looks like I don't have that bad of an issue. The alignment is still not perfect, but it's also not terrible like I've seen on some other copies. Here is how the head looks from the side. You can see the nose poking through the mask. Neck looks fine, so does the chest with a nicely printed spider logo. All web lines are also cleanly printed, no issues there, but there is some fuzziness, some blurriness on spots where blue and red colors of the costume meet. For example, look how sharp the line is here on the torso. You can see how crisp and sharp that is. But then look how it looks here on his right arm. Look at here on the muscle. See how fuzzy that is? I'm not a fan of that. But as you can see, these things happen on original releases as well, not just on bootlegs and knockoffs. Here is his back with the other spider logo that looks fine, but his two upper legs continue on butterfly joints, and when you move those, this is what happened. Hasbro decided to paint in the legs so they extend like this. Maybe they could have handled this differently, maybe they should have shortened the legs or make the whole spider logo smaller, but it is what it is. All the muscles are nicely sculpted. We get some wrinkles on the suit, like here on his thighs or even here on his butt, so that you really get the feeling of a tight suit. Legs look good and the web lines are cleanly applied down here as well. So far so good. This is a really good good looking Spider-Man figure. I have no major issues with it. Let's now take a look at his accessories. And as you guys probably know, he comes with a bunch of stuff, all kinds of different accessories. You get two of these web effects, and these are made out of softer rubbery plastic. As you can see, they are really pliable, bendable. Then you get this web effect piece, this one as well. And for these two, you actually get a small stand made out of these two pieces that you have to put together. And then you just need to find a peg hole in these effects. And this is where you plug in your stand. And that is how that looks. And same thing for the other effect. You find a peg hole and plug this in like that. You also get his spiderweb shield. And this is nice hard plastic. It looks fairly good. On the inner side, there is this clip so that you can clip the shield onto his wrists like this. Now this is actually a nice accessory. This is his spider sense effect. It's a simple plastic piece that is painted on, and this should simply clip around his head like this. And yeah, this looks good. This is a nice, valuable accessory. Then he comes with swappable hands. He has a total of 6 pairs of hands. Fisted hands that are already on the figure, a pair of gripping hands so that he can grip the web, a pair of wall crawling hands, a pair of twipping hands, and then another pair of twipping hands but with shooting web effects attached to them. He also comes with a pair of gloveless hands, and these don't really articulate. This is all one molded piece. They do not articulate. You don't have hinges in the wrists or anything. These are practically his lower arms that you can swap with the existing lower arms that are on the figure. And we can try to do that. These pop off and you put the alternate lower arm on like that. So here is how that looks. And finally, he comes with 2 alternate heads. First we get an alternate masked head, and this one actually has a slightly different shape of the eyes. And to be completely honest, it's not that big of a difference. I'm not even sure if I got some kind of a QC issue on this one, because as you can see, this black line going around the eye is much thicker on this side than on this side. Is that how this should be? I'm not sure. To me, it looks like this eye is the same as these two, but this one is different. So again, maybe it's some kind of QC issue or something, I'm not sure, but there you go. I don't see that big of a difference here. But then you also get his unmasked Peter Parker head, and this is probably the most controversial accessory in this set. I've heard a lot of people complaining about the look of this head sculpt, and to be honest, I also don't like it that much. Face expression looks kind of goofy and silly, and yeah, I don't know. It's good that it's included. I would just maybe like it to be a bit different, a bit better, but for what it is, the sculpt is nice. It's all well painted. There's no issues in that department. It's just something about the face expression. Why they decided to go with this head, I'm not sure. The hair is nicely sculpted. It looks like there is a little bit of wash in it. Eyes look good, lips as well. So there you go. And here is how that unmasked Peter Parker head looks on this body. And yeah, it still kind of looks goofy and silly, and I'm sure that I won't be displaying this figure with this head sculpt. So there's that. Let's now take a look at one of the main things on this figure, that being its articulation. Guys from Hasbro were talking a lot about a new sculpt, a new engineering, a new articulation points and everything. So let's see how good the articulation really is on this figure. If I'm not mistaken, for the first time in the Marvel Legends line, you have a Spidey figure that has articulated neck. So we get a point of articulation here for the head and then down at the bottom of the neck. And so you get a little bit of side to side movement. He can look left and right, head can turn 360. He can look down this far and then up this far, which is really good. I think that if you turn the neck like that and you turn the head, you can also get an even better tilt side to side. So there you go. He has a nice butterfly joints that really give you a great range of movement. And here is how far the arms go across his chest, and here is how far they go across his back. And this is really impressive. Arms rotate 360, they move out this much. We have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow that bends in all the way. We have a swivel in the lower arms, which is a point where you connect alternate ungloved hands. Then we have another swivel in the wrists and an in and out hinge. We have 2 points of articulation in the torso. We have a cut up here, and then we have a hinge down here. So up here you'll get your side-to-side rotation and a nice side-to-side tilt. And then down here you will get your crunch. So with those 2 points of articulation together, Spidey can crunch forward this much and he can bend back this much. We have drop down hips and he can spread his legs this far. This is how far they go forwards and back. We have a tie cut, double jointed knees. We also have a boot cut, no swivel in the ankles. Feet move forward this far and back. We have a nice toe joint and a great ankle pivot. So overall, I have to say that I do like the articulation. Again, I'm not a Marvel Legends expert. I don't have that many Marvel Legends in my collection. I do have some, but I'm definitely not an expert for this line of action figures, so take my opinion with a grain of salt. What I do have experience with is action figure articulation, action figure posing. I've been doing that for years, and in that sense, I feel like this is probably one of the best, or maybe the best, Marvel Legends Spidey figure that I ever messed around with. So I'm really liking the articulation, even though this is something that by today's standards in 2025, this should be a standard for Marvel Legends line. But because it's not, this is presented to us as something revolutionary for the line. So again, it's nothing special, nothing revolutionary, but for Marvel Legends line, it is probably their best articulated Spider-Man. Let's now compare this guy to some other figures. Now, as I said, I don't have that many Marvel Legends Spider-Man figures, but what I do have here is an AliExpress knockoff of Marvel Legends Pizza Spidey and the original Marvel Legends Symbiote Suit Spidey. And this can give you an idea of some of the types of bodies that Hasbro was using throughout all of these years. There are others, of course, but this is what I have. So I was really satisfied with this Symbiote Suit Spidey at the time when it was released, but now I feel like this is definitely a superior Spidey figure. Here is how he scales with Mafex Classic Suit Spidey and Sentinel Peter B. Parker. And I have to say that even though I like what Hasbro did on their Maximum Spider-Man, I still prefer the Mafex one in terms of the overall look, in terms of articulation, the quality of the plastic, everything. I still think that Mafex is a clear winner in comparison to this Maximum Spidey. Here is how he scales with City Toys knockoff of Mafex The Amazing Spider-Man and an AliExpress knockoff of Amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech 1.0 Spidey. Here is how he scales with the SH Figuarts Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and Mafex Daredevil. Here he is next to the Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Wolverine and Marvel Legends Captain America. Here is how he scales with Marvel Legends movie Deadpool and City Toys Brown Suit Wolverine. Here he is with AliExpress knockoff of Amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech 2.0 Deadpool and City Toys Agent Venom. Here is how he scales with Star Wars The Black Series Darth Vader and Imperial Stormtrooper. And then to compare him to some larger figures, here he is with Masters of the Universe Cartoon Collection Skeletor and Revelation He-Man. Here is how he scales with NECA TMNT movie Raphael and cartoon Leonardo. Here is how he scales with NECA Feral Predator and Savage Crucible Vetaris Repax. And finally, here is how he scales with YOLO Park AMK Pro Series, Optimus and Starscream. So there you go, that was my review of Marvel Legends Maximum Series Spider-Man. Is this figure worth 50 bucks or 60 euros? No, I don't think that it is. But if we ignore the price, is it a good figure? Yeah, it's not just good, it's a great figure. Probably one of the best, if not the best, Spidey figure in Marvel Legends line. The sculpt is nice, paint job is fuzzy on few spots, but it's clean for the most part. Web lines are sharp and well aligned on my copy, so no issues there. Articulation is great. It's not better than your Mafex figures, but it's slightly better than what you usually get in this line. Accessories are fine if you judge their amount, but I'm not sure how useful they are. Some of them, sure, but not all of them, at least for me. I do think that Hasbro could have included a flight stand in this release. They call it Maximum Series, but they can't give you a flight stand for a character that will most likely be posed on your shelf in some kind of a jumping or web swinging pose. I think that that's a big negative here. I would prefer a stand over some of the web shooting effects that they gave us. So overall, to sum it up, figure is great, the price is not. I know, that's what you already know, and I'm probably saying the same thing that any other reviewer is saying, but that's how I feel. Ultimately, it's all up to you to decide for yourself, based on what you saw in my and other reviews, if you want to get this figure or not. We already have the next Maximum figure on pre-order, the Hulk, and I won't be getting him. I'm not sure if I'll ever get any other Maximum Series figure in the near future. It will all depend on the characters and what's included in the set, but I got this guy simply because it's Spider-Man and I had to check it out. But you've heard my thoughts and now I would love to hear yours. What do you guys think about this Maximum Spider-Man? Did you get one for your collection? How much did you pay for it? Do you feel like it's worth the price? Are you satisfied with the figure and included accessories? How do you feel about the articulation? And what do you think about them not giving us a flight stand? Let me know all of it down in the comments. A huge thank you to my Patreon and channel members for their support. If you can also join and help, please do so. Links are in the video description. And of course, to all of you guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here with me, and I'll see ya in the next video.